I'm sitting in Dr. Martinez's office when my phone starts buzzing with the fury of 1,000 wasps. I don't need to look to know who it is, the same person who's been calling every hour for the past 3 days. My mother-in-law, Patricia. Mrs. Chen, Dr. Martinez says, sliding a folder across his desk toward me. I want to be very clear. This mass we found on your ovary. We need to remove it as soon as possible. Based on the imaging, I'm concerned. It's large, it has irregular borders, and my phone erupts again. This time it's a text, then another, then 5 more in rapid succession. I close my eyes, and for just a moment, I'm not in this office. I'm in a hospital room that smells like antiseptic and death. I'm 32 years old and I'm dying. My husband David is crying, finally crying, and his mother is nowhere to be found because she's in Santorini posting sunset photos on Instagram with the caption, "Living my best life, had blessed." But that hasn't happened yet. Not in this timeline. Because 2 months ago, I died. And then I woke up 6 months earlier in my bed with David's arm draped over me and the surgery I'd been scheduled for still 3 months away. I open my eyes. Dr. Martinez is waiting for my response. When can you schedule it? I ask. We have an opening in 2 weeks, Friday, June 14th. I really don't want to wait longer than that. June 14th. I remember that date. In my first life, that was the day I was supposed to have this surgery. The day I canceled it because Patricia had booked a once-in-a-lifetime Mediterranean cruise that departed June 15th, and she needed me to watch her diabetic cat, Muffin, and water her precious orchids, and David said it would be really selfish of me to ruin his mother's dream vacation over a little surgery that could happen anytime. Except it couldn't happen anytime. By the time I rescheduled for August, the tumor had grown. By the time they got me into surgery in September, it had spread. Stage 4 ovarian cancer, 8 months to live, maybe 12 with aggressive treatment. I died on March 3rd alone except for my sister Maya because David was too emotionally exhausted to be at the hospice, and Patricia was in Bali on her grief healing journey. My phone rings again. I should take this, I tell Dr. Martinez. But yes, June 14th, book it. He nods, looking relieved. I'll have Jenny call you with all the pre-op information. I step into the hallway and answer the call. Finally! Patricia's voice is sharp enough to cut glass. I've been trying to reach you all morning. We need to talk about June. Hello, Patricia, I say calmly. Don't hello, Patricia, me. David told me about this surgery you have scheduled, and honestly, Emma, the timing couldn't be worse. You know I've had this cruise booked for months. I've been planning this trip for over a year. In my first life, this was where I caved, where I said, of course I understand, and called Dr. Martinez's office to reschedule. That's unfortunate, I say instead. There's a pause. Excuse me? I said that's unfortunate about the timing. Well, yes, which is why you'll need to reschedule. David said you could easily move it to July or August. No. The silence that follows is so profound I can hear her breathing. I'm sorry, what did you just say to me? I said no, Patricia. I'm not rescheduling my surgery. Emma, I don't think you understand. There is no one else who can watch Muffin. He requires very specific care. His insulin has to be administered at exact times, and the orchids, do you have any idea how much those orchids kiss? They need to be watered with filtered water at a specific pH level. Then you'll need to cancel your cruise. I hear her sharp intake of breath. Cancel my Emma? Are you having some kind of mental breakdown? This cruise costs $12,000. It's non-refundable. That sounds like a personal problem. How dare you? How dare you speak to me this way? Wait until David hears about this. You are being selfish and unreasonable, and quite frankly, this is exactly the kind of behavior that makes me question whether you're the right partner for my son. In my first life, that threat would have terrified me. I spent 5 years trying to win Patricia's approval, bending myself into shapes that barely resembled a human being, all for a woman who would eventually tell me, as I lay dying, that if I'd taken better care of myself, I might not be in that situation. You should definitely tell David, I say. I'll see you at dinner on Sunday. I hang up before she can respond. My hands are shaking, but it's not from fear. It's adrenaline. It's power. It's the electric thrill of finally saying no. When I get home, David is already there, loosening his tie in the kitchen. He works in finance, managing portfolios for people rich enough to own multiple vacation homes. He's handsome in the way of men who peak in college. Square jaw, trim build, hair that's just starting to thin at the crown. "Hey, babe," he says, kissing my cheek. "How is the doctor?" "Good. Surgery is scheduled for June 14th. He pauses mid-reach for a beer. "June 14th? That's right before Mom's cruise." "Yes." "Emma, we talked about this. You said you'd try to schedule it around her trip." "No, David. You said I should schedule it around her trip. I said I'd think about it. I thought about it. The answer is no." He stares at me like I've just spoken in ancient Greek. "This isn't like you." "Maybe it should be." "What does that mean?" I lean against the counter, arms crossed. "It means I have a mass on my ovary that my doctor is concerned about. It means this surgery is time sensitive. It means your mother's vacation is not more important than my health." "No one is saying her vacation is more important. Then what are you saying?" He sets the beer down with more force than necessary. "I'm saying you're being difficult." "It's 2 weeks, Emma, 2 weeks. You could have the surgery in July." "My doctor wants to do it now, not in July, now." "Doctors always say that. They're overly cautious because of liability. I'm sure if you explain the situation." "I did explain the situation to my doctor, who told me he doesn't want to wait." That's the end of the discussion. David's jaw tightens. "My mother has been planning this trip for over a year." "Then she should have planned for pet care and plant care when she booked it." "You know Muffin's needs are complicated. She can't just leave him with anyone." "There are professional pet sitters who specialize in diabetic cats. And they cost a fortune." I laugh. It comes out harder than I intend. "Your mother is going on a $12,000 cruise, David. I think she can afford a pet sitter." "That's not the point." "Then what is the point?" "Because from where I'm standing, the point is that you and your mother think a vacation is more important than catching a potentially cancerous tumor before it spreads." His face goes pale. "Cancerous? You said it was just a mass?" "It is a mass. That's what they call it until they biopsy it. Dr. Martinez is concerned enough to want me in surgery in 2 weeks, not 2 months. Do you understand what that means?" For a moment, I see something flicker across his face. Concern. Maybe even fear. Then his phone buzzes. He glances at it, and I know it's Patricia before he even looks up. "I need to call my mom," he says. "Of course you do." He walks out of the kitchen, phone all ready to his ear. I hear him in the living room. "Mom, slow down." "What?" "No, she didn't tell me." I pour myself a glass of wine and wait. The argument lasts 3 hours. It starts when David comes back into the kitchen and tells me his mother is devastated and hurt that I'm refusing to help her. It escalates when I point out that I'm not refusing to help her. I'm refusing to cancel my surgery. It reaches a fever pitch when David suggests we could compromise by me having the surgery done at a hospital closer to Patricia's house so I can recover there and still take care of things. "You want me to have abdominal surgery and then take care of your mother's cat and plants while I'm recovering?" I stare at him and me. "Are you listening to yourself?" "It wouldn't be that hard. You'd mostly be resting anyway. I'll be on pain medication and unable to lift anything heavier than 10 pounds. That includes cat litter. I'm just trying to find a solution that works for everyone." The solution that works for everyone is your mother canceling her cruise or finding alternative care. Why are you being so stubborn about this? Why are you prioritizing your mother's vacation over your wife's health? That stops him. For about 30 seconds. "I'm not," he says finally. "I just think you're being dramatic. It's a routine surgery. You don't know that. They don't know that. That's why they need to do it. That's why they need to do it now." We go in circles. David accuses me of changing and not being the woman he married. I wonder, not for the first time, what would have happened if the woman he married had died right on schedule? Would he have been sad? Or would he have been relieved he could finally marry someone his mother approved of? Finally, I walk away. I lock myself in our bedroom and listen to him call Patricia back. I hear phrases like, completely unreasonable, and I don't know what's gotten into her, and maybe this is hormones from the tumor. I lie on the bed and stare at the ceiling and remember dying. Not the actual moment. That was morphine soft, a gentle slipping away. No, I remember the months before, the surgeries that came too late, the chemotherapy that ravaged my body without stopping the cancer's march, the look on David's face when the oncologist said, hospice, not grief, but inconvenience. The way he started staying late at work. The way Patricia told me I should be more positive because attitude affects outcomes. I remember Maya, my younger sister, holding my hand in that final week. She was the only one. She took leave from her job as a trauma nurse, slept in an uncomfortable chair, and made sure I wasn't alone. I'm so angry, I whispered to her one night. At the cancer? She asked. At him. At her. At myself for wasting 5 years on people who don't love me. Maya's jaw had tightened. They don't deserve you. They never did. That was the truth I died with. And the truth I woke up with. Sunday dinner at Patricia's house is as excruciating as I remember. Patricia lives in a sprawling suburban home that David's late father bought 30 years ago. Every surface is decorated within an inch of its life. Throw pillows with inspirational quotes, wall art from Home Goods, scented candles in every room. It's the house of a woman who has nothing to do but spend her late husband's life insurance money on cruises and home decor. David's younger brother Ryan is there with his wife Jennifer. They have 2 kids, both under 5, both screaming throughout the entire meal. Emma, Patricia says the moment we walk in, Emma, I think we need to have a conversation. After dinner, Mom, David says quickly. No, I think we need to have it now. This affects the entire family. I set my purse down. Does it? Of course it does. If you refuse to help me, then I'll have to cancel my cruise, which means I lose $12,000, which means I can't help Ryan and Jennifer with their down payment for the new house, which means... You were going to give them $12,000? I ask. Patricia lifts her chin. I was going to give them what I saved from canceling the cruise, which would have been about $8,000 after penalties. So you're holding Ryan and Jennifer's house hostage unless I cancel my surgery. That's not what I said. That's exactly what you said. Jennifer shifts uncomfortably. Ryan looks at his plate. The kids scream in the background. David touches my elbow. Emma, let's not do this here. Why not? Your mother wanted to have this conversation now. Let's have it. I look at Patricia. You want me to cancel a surgery that might be for cancer so you can go on a cruise. When I refuse, you threaten to withhold money from Ryan and Jennifer. Do I have that right? Patricia's face flushes. You're twisting my words. I'm repeating them. You know, Emma, ever since David married you, you've been nothing but difficult. You don't come to family events. I came to every family event for 5 years until I realized I wasn't wanted at them. You don't make an effort with this family. I'm the one who plans all the birthday parties. I'm the one who buys all the Christmas gifts with my own money and signs David's name on them. I'm the one who sat with you for 6 hours in the ER when you had kidney stones because David was too busy with work. Patricia's mouth opens and closes. I appreciated that, but you sent me a text that said, finally home, you can go now. That was the whole thing. No thank you, just dismissal. Emma, David says, his voice low and warning. That's enough. I turn to him. Is it? Because I don't think it is. I don't think I've said enough. Not in 5 years. You're being cruel to my mother. Your mother is trying to guilt trip me into risking my life for her vacation. Let's talk about cruel. The room is silent except for the kids, who have finally stopped screaming and are watching with wide eyes. Patricia stands. I think you should leave. Gladly. I grab my purse and walk out. Behind me, I hear David apologizing to his mother, his voice frantic and desperate. He doesn't follow me. I sit in my car and wait. 10 minutes pass, 20, 30. At the 45-minute mark, I start the engine and drive home. David doesn't come home until after midnight. I'm still awake, reading in bed. We need to talk, he says. Okay. I think you need to apologize to my mother. I close my book. No. Emma, you humiliated her in front of the whole family. I told the truth in front of the whole family. You were cruel and hurtful, and did you ever think that maybe I'm tired of being the only one who has to swallow hurt feelings? That maybe I'm done being the one who always apologizes, who always gives in, who always makes myself smaller so your mother feels bigger? This isn't about making anyone smaller. Then what is it about, David? Explain it to me. Explain how asking me to cancel a surgery for a potentially cancerous tumor so your mother can go on a cruise isn't asking me to make myself smaller. Explain how that's reasonable. He sits on the edge of the bed, his back to me. She's my mother. And I'm your wife. She raised me. She sacrificed everything for me, and Ryan after Dad died, and I'm the one who might have cancer. That word hangs in the air between us like a curse. You don't know that, he says finally. The doctor said it's probably benign. He said he's concerned. He said he wants to operate immediately. Those aren't the words doctors use for something that's probably benign. David's shoulders slump. What do you want me to say? I want you to say that you choose me. I want you to tell your mother that your wife's health comes before her vacation. I want you to act like my husband instead of her son. He doesn't say anything. David? I need to think. About what? About us. About whether this marriage is working. I feel something inside me crack, but it's not my heart. That broke in my first life. This is something else. Something like relief. Okay, I say. He looks at me surprised. Okay? Think about it. Take all the time you need. But know this. I'm having the surgery on June 14th. I'm not rescheduling. I'm not negotiating. If that's a deal breaker for you, then you know where the door is. He leaves the bedroom. I hear him settling on the couch in the living room. I turn off the light and close my eyes. In my first life, I would have been panicking. I would have been crying, would have spent the whole night composing apologies in my head, would have canceled the surgery the next morning. But I'm not that Emma anymore. That Emma died. The next 2 weeks are Cold War. David and I circle each other like wary animals. He sleeps on the couch. We communicate in terse, functional sentences. Did you pay the electric bill? Are you going to be home for dinner? We need more milk. Patricia calls him constantly. I know because I can hear them talking, his voice low and reassuring. I don't know what they're saying, and I don't care. Maya calls me on Tuesday. I heard about the surgery, she says. How are you doing? I'm okay. Emma. Her voice is that special combination of gentle and no nonsense that only trauma nurses can manage. How are you really doing? David and I are probably getting divorced. Good. I laugh to spite myself. You're supposed to be sympathetic. I'm your sister. I'm supposed to tell you the truth. And the truth is, David has been a mediocre husband at best and a mama's boy at worst since day one. If he can't prioritize your literal health over his mother's cruise, then fuck him. Maya, I mean it. Fuck him. And fuck Patricia. You need support right now, not this bullshit. Do you want me to come stay with you after the surgery? You don't have to. I'm coming. I already requested the time off. I'll fly in Thursday night. Stay through Monday at least. Longer if you need me. Tears prick at my eyes. Thank you. Of course, what are sisters for? She pauses. Emma, I need to ask you something. Okay. This surgery, the doctor is worried, isn't he? It's not just routine. I close my eyes. In my first life, I downplayed it to Maya, told her it was probably nothing. Let her fly back to Seattle thinking I was fine, only to have to call her 3 months later with the stage 4 diagnosis. He's concerned, I admit. The mass is large. It has irregular borders. He wants to do a frozen section during surgery, test it immediately. If it's malignant, he'll do a full hysterectomy and staging right then. Jesus, Emma. And David wants you to postpone this for a fucking cat? Apparently. I'm going to key his car. Don't key his car. Fine, but I'm going to think about keying his car very vividly. We talk for another hour. She tells me about her girlfriend, Sarah, who's a pediatrician. She tells me about the apartment they're thinking of buying together in Capitol Hill. She tells me about the hiking trip they took to Mount Rainier last month. She doesn't mention the future I died in because she doesn't know about it. In that timeline, Maya didn't meet Sarah until after I died. She was so destroyed by grief that she threw herself into work, picked up extra shifts, and eventually burned out. Sarah was the attending who found her crying in the supply closet and took her to coffee. So many things were different in that timeline. So many small moments led to larger tragedies. But not this time. This time, I'm going to live. The Wednesday before my surgery, Patricia shows up at my house. I'm working from home. I'm a graphic designer, freelance, which gives me flexibility but also means I can't really take sick days. I'm finishing up a logo project when the doorbell rings. I consider not answering, but I'm not afraid of Patricia anymore. I open the door. She's wearing white linen pants and a flowing turquoise blouse. Vacation clothes. We need to talk, she says. Okay. Can I come in? I step aside. She walks past me into the living room, looking around like she's never been here before, even though she's visited at least once a month for 5 years. Would you like something to drink? I ask. No, I'm not staying long. She sits on the edge of the couch, perched like a bird ready to flee. I wanted to talk to you about David. What about him? He's miserable, Emma. Absolutely miserable. This fight you're having, it's tearing him apart. That's unfortunate. Her eyes narrow. You've changed. Ever since this surgery came up, you've been different. Cold, selfish. Interesting. Don't you care that you're destroying your marriage? Patricia, I have a mass on my ovary that might be cancer. If asking to have surgery for that is what destroys my marriage, then maybe my marriage was already destroyed. You're being dramatic. David said the doctor only said he was concerned. That's not the same as a diagnosis. No, it's worse. It's uncertainty. It's not knowing if I have months or years, and your son wants me to extend that uncertainty by 6 weeks so you can go on a cruise. It's not just a cruise, she snaps. It's something I've been dreaming about for years. Ever since Robert died, I've barely left the state. This was supposed to be my big adventure, my chance to finally live again. For a moment, I almost feel sympathy for her. Almost. Then I remember her posting photos from Hawaii 3 months after Robert died. I remember her girls' trips to Napa Valley, and her weekend spa retreats, and her regular nail appointments that cost more than my monthly grocery budget. You've been on at least 10 trips since Robert died, I say. I know because I helped David buy your plane tickets or book your hotels for most of them. She waves her hand dismissively. Day trips. Quick getaways. Nothing like this. Patricia, I'm going to be very clear with you. I'm not canceling my surgery. Not for your cruise, not for Muffin, not for your orchids, not for anything. If that means you have to cancel or reschedule your trip, that's your choice to make. But it's not my problem. Her face hardens. And what about David? What about him? If you keep acting like this, you're going to lose him. Then I'll lose him. She stands abruptly. You're making a mistake. David is a good man. He's loyal, he's successful, he's devoted to his family. He's so devoted to his family that he's willing to sacrifice his wife's health for his mother's vacation. You're right, that's very devoted. You're being, I think you should leave now. We stare at each other. In my first life, I crumbled under that stare. Let her make me feel small and ungrateful and difficult, not anymore. Fine, she says. But when your marriage falls apart, don't come crying to me. I wouldn't dream of it. She leaves, slamming the door behind her. I watch through the window as she gets into her white Mercedes and speeds away. I go back to my computer and finish the logo. Then I eat leftover Thai food and watch a true crime documentary and go to bed early. David doesn't come home that night. Thursday morning, I get a text from him. Staying at mom's for a few days, need space to think. I text back, okay. That's it. That's the whole conversation. Maya flies in Thursday night. I pick her up from the airport, and the moment I see her, I start crying. Hey, hey, she says, hugging me tight. It's okay, I'm here. I think my marriage is over. I know, I'm sorry. The fucked up thing is, I don't think I'm sad about it. I think I'm relieved. She pulls back to look at me. Then it's definitely over, and that's okay. You deserve better than someone who makes you feel relieved to leave. We go home, she unpacks her bag in the guest room, and then we order pizza and watch reality TV and don't talk about cancer or surgery or David at all. It's the most relaxed I've felt in weeks. Friday morning, Maya drives me to the hospital. I've been fasting since midnight. The pre-op instructions are folded in my purse. I've signed all the consent forms. I know what they're going to do. Exploratory laparoscopy, possible full hysterectomy depending on what they find, possible lymph node removal if the frozen section shows cancer. I might wake up without my uterus, without my ovaries, without any chance of ever having biological children. In my first life, that devastated me. I woke up from surgery in September, sobbing, not just from the cancer diagnosis, but from the loss of a future I'd never really considered but had always assumed I'd have. This time, I feel oddly calm. Maybe it's because I've already lived through the worst-case scenario. Or maybe it's because I've realized that not all losses are tragedies. Some losses are releases. We're in the pre-op area when David shows up. He looks terrible. His hair is messy, his eyes are bloodshot, and he's wearing the same clothes he wore when he left. Emma, he says. I needed to be here. Maya stands up, positioning herself between us. Did you, though? Maya, please. I need to talk to my wife. Your wife is about to have surgery. She doesn't need your drama. It's okay, I say quietly. Let him talk. Maya glares at David but steps aside. He sits in the chair she vacated. I'm sorry, he says. I've been thinking all week and I'm sorry. You were right. Your health is more important than Mom's trip. I should have said that from the beginning. Okay. I talked to Mom. She's going to cancel the cruise. Or postpone it, whatever she needs to do. I told her you come first. When did you tell her this? This morning. I called her on the way here. So she hasn't actually canceled anything yet. Well, no, but she will. I made it clear that this is non-negotiable. I study his face. He looks sincere. He looks like he means it. But I remember the months after my surgery in the first timeline, the way he pulled away, the way he blamed me for letting the cancer get to stage 4 as if I could have controlled it, the way he made my illness about his inconvenience. Thank you, I say. I appreciate you coming. He reaches for my hand. I love you, Emma. I know I've been a shitty husband lately, but I want to make this work. We can go to counseling. We can figure this out. Okay. Really? Really, after I recover from surgery, we'll talk about counseling. He looks so relieved, so grateful. He kisses my forehead. I'll be here when you wake up. Okay. The nurse comes to wheel me back to the OR. David squeezes my hand. Maya gives me a look that clearly says, "We're talking about this later." As they push my gurney down the hall, I close my eyes and think about the first time I made this journey. The fear, the uncertainty, the desperate hope that it would be nothing, that I'd wake up and the doctor would say, "All clear," and my life could continue on its mediocre path. This time, I'm not hoping for nothing. I'm hoping for truth, for answers, for an end to uncertainty. Whatever they find, I'll face it, because I've already died once. I'm not afraid of it anymore. I wake up in recovery to Maya holding my hand. "Hey," she says softly. "How are you feeling?" "Floaty," I mumble. "Did they find anything?" "The doctor will be in soon. David's in the waiting room. I told him to stay there." "Good sister." She smiles. "The best." Dr. Martinez appears about 20 minutes later, still in his scrubs. He pulls up a chair next to my bed. "Emma," he says, "I have your results." My heart pounds. This is it. This is the moment where everything changes. The mass was malignant, ovarian cancer, stage 1A. We caught it very early, which is excellent news. I performed a full hysterectomy as we discussed, removed both ovaries, both fallopian tubes, the uterus, and some lymph nodes for testing. The lymph nodes came back clear. No evidence of spread beyond the primary site. I close my eyes. Stage 1A. In my first life, by the time they operated in September, I was stage 3C. By the time I died, stage 4. "What's the prognosis?" Maya asks. "Very good. Stage 1A ovarian cancer has a 5-year survival rate of over 90%. She'll need chemotherapy, probably 3 to 4 cycles, but the outlook is quite positive." Chemotherapy, I repeat. I know it sounds scary, but with your stage and grade, we're being proactive. The chemo is insurance against any microscopic cells we might have missed. Most patients tolerate it well, and afterwards, you can move forward with your life. Move forward with my life. In my first timeline, there was no moving forward. There was only the slow march toward death. "Thank you," I whisper. Dr. Martinez pats my arm. "You did good, Emma. You advocated for yourself. You insisted on early surgery. That decision saved your life." After he leaves, Maya is crying. "You okay?" I ask. "I'm just so relieved. When you said he was concerned, I thought—" She wipes her eyes. "I thought the worst." "Me too. But you're going to be okay. You're going to be fine." "Yeah," I say. "I am." She squeezes my hand. "Do you want me to get David?" "Not yet. Give me a few more minutes." "Take all the time you need." I lie there, feeling the ache of surgery, the fog of anesthesia, the strange emptiness where my reproductive organs used to be. I'm 31 years old, and I'm never going to have biological children. I'm going to go through menopause early. I'm going to need hormone replacement therapy for the rest of my life. But I'm going to live. I'm going to live long enough to see Maya marry Sarah. I'm going to live long enough to travel and create art and maybe fall in love again with someone who actually deserves me. I'm going to live. "Okay," I tell Maya. "You can get David now." He comes in looking nervous, holding a sad bouquet of grocery store flowers. "Hey," he says. "How are you feeling?" "Sore, tired." "The doctor told me. Cancer. Jesus, Emma. I'm so sorry." "It's okay. They caught it early." "But if we'd waited, if you'd rescheduled like Mom wanted—" He sits down heavily. "It could have spread. It could have been so much worse." "Yes. I almost— we almost—" He covers his face with his hands. "I'm so sorry. I'm so, so sorry." This is where I'm supposed to comfort him, where I'm supposed to say it's okay, that it all worked out, that we'll get through this together. But I'm tired. I'm so fucking tired of comforting people who hurt me. David, I say, I need to tell you something. Anything. I want a divorce. He freezes. What? I want a divorce. I've been thinking about it for weeks, and this just confirmed it. I want out. Emma, you're not thinking clearly. You just had surgery. I'm thinking very clearly. Clearer than I have in years. This is the anesthesia talking. It's not. I'm done, David. I'm done with you prioritizing your mother over me. I'm done being the bad guy for having boundaries. I'm done with a marriage where I have to beg my husband to give a shit about my health. I came here, didn't I? I apologize. You came here after I'd already had the surgery, after it was too late for your apology to matter. You apologized because the guilt finally caught up to you, not because you actually understood what you did wrong. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? I laugh and it hurts my incisions. You know what's not fair? Having to choose between my health and my marriage. Having your mother call me selfish for not canceling my cancer surgery. Having you sleep on the couch and tell me you need to think about whether this marriage is working because I wouldn't sacrifice myself for a vacation. I was upset. I had cancer, David. I had cancer, and you were upset about a cruise. He stands up, paces. You're right, okay? You're right. I fucked up. I fucked up massively. But we can fix this. We can go to counseling. I don't want to fix this. Emma, I don't love you anymore. The words come out easier than I expected. I don't think I have for a long time. Maybe I never really did. Maybe I just loved the idea of being loved and you were there, and I convinced myself it was enough. You don't mean that. I do, and I think if you're honest with yourself, you don't really love me either. You love the version of me that makes your life easy. That does what your mother wants, that doesn't make waves, that manages your household and your family relationships and never asks for anything in return. That's not true. When's the last time you asked me about my work, about my dreams, about anything that matters to me? He opens his mouth, closes it, opens it again. You can't remember, I say. Because you never do. Because I'm not a person to you, David. I'm a supporting character in your life. I want you to leave, Maya says from the doorway. I hadn't noticed her standing there. She needs to rest, and you're upsetting her. I'm her husband. Not for long, I say. What if I need? My lawyer will be in. Touch. David looks between us, his face cycling through shock, anger, hurt. Finally, he settles on resignation. Fine, he says, if that's what you want. It is. He leaves the flowers on the bedside table and walks out. Maya sits down in the chair he vacated. You okay? Yeah, I say. I really am. The next 6 months are a blur of recovery and chemotherapy and divorce proceedings. The chemo is rough but manageable. I lose my hair. I spend a lot of time nauseated. Maya flies out twice more to stay with me during the worst of it. David moves out of the house in July. Patricia calls me once to tell me I'm ruining her son's life. I hang up on her mid-sentence and block her number. The divorce is contentious but not dramatic. David wants to keep the house. I want to keep my savings and my business equipment. We split the rest down the middle. His lawyer tries to argue that he deserves more because he was the primary earner, but my lawyer points out that I contributed significantly to the household income and managed everything else. We settle in October. In November, 3 weeks after my last chemo treatment, Maya calls me. I have news, she says. Good news? Very good news. Sarah proposed. I burst into tears, happy tears for once. Oh my God, congratulations! Tell me everything. She does. It was on a hiking trail at sunrise with a ring Sarah had been carrying for 2 months, waiting for the perfect moment. You're invited to the wedding, obviously, Maya says, but no pressure to come if you're not feeling up to it. Are you kidding? I'll be there. When is it? May, small ceremony, just close friends and family. I know it's a long flight. I'll be there, I repeat. I wouldn't miss it for anything. After we hang up, I sit on my couch, the new couch I bought after David moved out, and think about the wedding that will never happen. In my first timeline, Maya was too destroyed by my death to date anyone for 2 years. She and Sarah didn't meet until she was 34, didn't get married until she was 36. But in this timeline, I'm alive. In this timeline, Maya gets her happy ending sooner. That night, I look up the statistics. Stage 4 ovarian cancer, the kind I had in my first life, has a 5-year survival rate of about 17%. Stage 1A, the kind I had in this life, has a 5-year survival rate of over 90%. Rescheduling my surgery by 6 weeks, just 6 weeks, made the difference between 17% and 90%, between dying at 32 and living to see my sister get married. I think about Patricia on her cruise. I think about her posting photos of the Mediterranean with captions about living her best life, while I died slowly in hospice. I pull out my phone and unblock her number. Then I send her a single text. Thank you for showing me who you really are. The surgery you wanted me to cancel? The tumor they removed was cancerous, stage 1A. If I'd rescheduled like you demanded, it would have spread. I would have died. But I didn't reschedule. I chose myself. And now I get to live while you get to explain to everyone why you tried to convince your daughter-in-law to risk her life for a vacation. I hope the cruise was worth it. I block her number again before she can respond. December comes. My hair is growing back, fuzzy and dark. I've regained some of the weight I lost. My energy is returning in fits and starts. I'm sitting in my oncologist's office for my 3-month post-treatment scan results. Dr. Patel, a sharp-eyed woman in her 50s, pulls up my imaging on the screen. Emma, she says, I'm pleased to tell you that your scans are clear, no evidence of disease. We'll continue monitoring you every 3 months for the first 2 years, then every 6 months. But right now, you're doing great. No evidence of disease. I'm cured. I walk out of the hospital into the cold December air and call Maya. I'm clear, I say. She screams so loud I have to pull the phone away from my ear. Oh my God, Emma, that's amazing. I know. We need to celebrate. I'm booking a flight right now. No, you save your money for the wedding. I'll come visit you for Christmas. Are you sure? I'm sure. I want to meet Sarah in person. I want to see your apartment. I want to have a normal sister visit where we eat too much food and watch bad movies and don't talk about cancer. That sounds perfect. After we hang up, I go to a coffee shop and order the most expensive, most calorie-laden drink on the menu. Then I sit by the window and watch people walk by, people rushing to work, people shopping for holidays, people living their ordinary lives. I'm one of them again, ordinary, alive. My phone buzzes. It's an email from my lawyer. Divorce finalized. Congratulations. I'm officially single, officially cancer-free, officially alive. I start laughing right there in the coffee shop and I can't stop. The barista looks at me with concern, but I wave her off. I'm okay, I say. I'm really, really okay. I spend Christmas in Seattle with Maya and Sarah. Sarah is lovely, warm and funny, and completely head over heels for my sister. We cook dinner together, exchange gifts, and stay up late playing board games. On Christmas night, after Sarah has gone to bed, Maya and I sit on their balcony wrapped in blankets, watching the city lights. I need to tell you something, I say. Okay. I don't know how to explain this, but I'm going to try. This year, this whole year, it feels like I've been given a second chance. Like I died and came back and got to fix everything I'd gotten wrong. Maya is quiet for a moment. I believe you. You do? Not literally. I don't think you actually died and time traveled or whatever, but I believe that something shifted for you, that you had a realization that changed how you see everything. She pauses. And honestly, whatever happened, I'm grateful because this version of you, the one who stands up for herself, who walks away from people who hurt her, who fights for her own life, this is the sister I always knew was in there. I wasted so much time, I say quietly. 5 years with David, 5 years trying to win over Patricia, 5 years making myself smaller. You didn't waste it, you learned from it, and now you get to do better. That's generous. That's the truth. She bumps my shoulder with hers. You know what I realized this year, watching you go through all this? What? You're braver than I ever gave you credit for. Walking away from David right before surgery, telling his mother to fuck off essentially, standing up for yourself when it would have been easier to just give in, that takes guts, Emma. I didn't feel brave, I felt terrified. That's what makes it brave. We sit in comfortable silence for a while, watching the city breathe below us. I'm going to be okay, I say. I really am. I know you are. And for the first time in either of my lives, I believe it. January 2026. 1 year since I woke up in my second life. I'm in my apartment. I moved out of the house I shared with David and into a small one-bedroom in a walkable neighborhood with good coffee shops. I've redecorated everything: bright colors, plants, art that I actually like instead of the neutral beige David preferred. I'm working on a design project when my phone rings. Unknown number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Hello? Emma? A woman's voice, vaguely familiar. This is Jennifer, David's sister-in-law. I tense. Hi. I hope it's okay that I'm calling. I got your number from your business website. It's fine, what's up? She takes a breath. I wanted to apologize for not speaking up that night at Patricia's house, when she was trying to guilt you into canceling your surgery. I should have said something. I should have told her she was being unreasonable, but I didn't, and I've felt terrible about it ever since. I sit back in my chair, surprised. Thank you, that means a lot. I heard about the diagnosis, stage 1A, and I keep thinking about what would have happened if you'd listened to her, if you'd postponed the surgery. Her voice cracks. My mom died of ovarian cancer, stage 4. She ignored symptoms for too long, kept thinking she was just stressed, and by the time she got diagnosed, she trails off. Anyway, I'm glad you didn't listen. I'm glad you're okay. I'm sorry about your mom. Thank you. And Emma, you were right that night. About all of it. Patricia is manipulative and selfish, and David enables her. I've been thinking about it a lot, actually. About how she held our house money hostage to try to control you. Ryan and I, we're starting to set boundaries with her, too. Good for you. It's hard. She's making it really difficult. But I keep thinking about you, how you stood up to her, and it gives me courage. After we hang up, I sit there feeling something I didn't expect. Vindication. Not the petty kind. The deeper kind. The kind that comes from knowing you made the right choice, even when everyone told you it was wrong. May 26. I'm standing in a garden in Seattle watching my sister marry the love of her life. Maya looks radiant in a simple white dress. Sarah is crying. The ceremony is short and sweet and perfect. Afterwards, at the reception, Maya pulls me aside. Thank you for being here, she says. Of course, I wouldn't miss it. No, I mean, thank you for being here, alive, healthy, strong. She squeezes my hand. Last year, when you were going through everything, I was so scared. I thought I might lose you, and now here we are. Here we are, I echo. I love you, big sister. I love you too. We hug, and I let myself cry a little. And it's okay. That night, I dance with Maya and Sarah and their friends. I drink champagne and eat cake and laugh until my face hurts. I think about the wedding that never happened in my first life. The joy Maya never got to experience because she was too consumed by grief. And I think about Patricia, wherever she is. I heard through the grapevine that she did eventually take her cruise, rescheduled for October, after I'd already had my surgery and started chemo. I heard she had a miserable time, got food poisoning, and came home early. I hope she thinks about me sometimes. I hope she thinks about the surgery she tried to stop. I hope she realizes that her selfishness almost killed someone. But honestly, I don't think about her much anymore. She's not worth the energy. June 2026. 2 years since my second rebirth. 1 year since my surgery. I'm sitting in Dr. Martinez's office for my annual checkup. He reviews my scans, my blood work, my physical exam. Everything looks excellent, Emma. You're officially in remission. We'll continue monitoring, but at this point, your prognosis is very, very good. What are my chances, I ask, of it never coming back? With stage 1A disease and successful treatment, you have about a 95% chance of never having a recurrence. You're essentially cured. Cured. I walk out of his office and sit in my car for a long time, just breathing. In my first life, I died in March 2025. It's June 2026 now. I've been living on borrowed time for over a year, except it's not borrowed, it's mine. I earned it by standing up for myself, by refusing to be small, by choosing life over a cruise. I drive to the cemetery where I was buried in my first life. I've never been here in this timeline, but I remember where the plot is. David bought it, the cheapest one available, in a far corner with no view. I stand where my headstone would be and look at the empty grass. I'm not here, I say out loud. I'm alive. I chose life and I'm alive. A jogger passes by, giving me a weird look. I don't care. I'm alive, I say, again louder this time. I'm alive, and you, Patricia, David, all of you, you don't get to kill me. Not with your selfishness, not with your manipulation, not with anything. I'm alive, and I'm going to stay that way. The jogger is definitely filming me now, still don't care. I get back in my car and drive home. I have a design project due next week. I have plans to visit Maya next month. I have a life to live, a real life. Not the half-life I existed in before, bending myself into shapes to please people who didn't care about me. A whole life, my life. August 2028. 2028. 3 years post-surgery, 2 years post-divorce, 1 year post-remission. I'm sitting in a coffee shop working on my laptop when someone taps on my shoulder. I look up. It's David. He looks different. Older somehow, though it's only been 3 years. There are lines around his eyes I don't remember. He's gained weight. Emma, he says. Wow. Hi. Hi. Can I sit? I gesture to the empty chair. He sits down, fidgeting with his coffee cup. You look great, healthy. Thanks. I am healthy. I I asked your sister how you were doing and she told me. Not details, just that you were doing well. Maya told you? We ran into each other at a conference. She was polite but not warm, if you know what I mean. I smile despite myself. Yeah, that sounds like Maya. She's protective of you. She is. We sit in awkward silence for a moment. I wanted to apologize, he says finally. For everything. For not supporting you, for choosing my mother over you, for being a shitty husband. Okay. I've been in therapy, working through a lot of stuff, my relationship with my mom, mostly, the enmeshment, the boundary issues. I'm starting to see how toxic it all was. That's good. I'm glad you're doing that work. I know it's too late for us. I know I destroyed any chance we had. But I wanted you to know that I'm sorry. And I wanted you to know that you were right. About everything. I study his face. He looks sincere. He looks like he means it. And I feel Nothing. No anger, no vindication, no satisfaction. Just a kind of distant compassion for someone who was too damaged to love me properly. Thank you for saying that, I say. I appreciate it. Are you seeing anyone? Why? Just curious. You deserve to be happy. I am happy. Whether I'm seeing anyone or not, I'm happy. He nods. That's good. That's really good. He stands up. I should let you get back to work. I needed to tell you I'm sorry. Apology accepted, David. I hope you find what you're looking for. He walks away and I watch him go. I feel lighter somehow, like a door I didn't realize was still open has finally closed. I go back to my work and I don't think about him again. December 2028. 4 years since my rebirth. 3 years since my surgery. 2 years since my divorce. I'm at Maya and Sarah's house for Christmas again. They've moved to a bigger place, a house with a yard where they're planning to raise the baby Sarah is currently 6 months pregnant with. Auntie Emma, Maya says, rubbing her wife's belly, we hope you're ready for babysitting duty. I'm ready for anything, I say, and I mean it. We cook dinner together, turkey and stuffing and all the traditional things. Maya tells stories about her patients, no identifying details. Sarah talks about her pediatric practice. I show them my latest design portfolio. After dinner, we sit around the fireplace, drinking cocoa and watching the snow fall outside. Emma, Sarah says, Maya told me a little bit about what happened with David and his mother, about how they wanted you to delay your surgery. Ancient history, sus, I say. I know, but I wanted to tell you something. As a doctor. She leans forward. You saved your own life. The difference between stage 1 and stage 4 ovarian cancer, it's not just statistics. It's the difference between living and dying. If you'd waited those extra weeks, the cancer would have spread. You'd have needed more aggressive treatment, if treatment was even possible. You made the right choice, even when everyone was telling you not to. I know, I say, and I do know, I've always known. I just think you should hear it from a medical professional, Sarah continues. You didn't overreact. You weren't being dramatic, you were being smart. You were saving your own life. Maya squeezes Sarah's hand. I knew I loved you for a reason. Later, after Sarah has gone to bed, Maya and I stay up late talking. Do you ever think about what would have happened? She asks. If you'd listened to them? If you'd rescheduled? Sometimes, I admit. But not in a dwelling way. More in a grateful way. Like, thank God I didn't. Thank God you didn't, she agrees. Maya? Yeah? Thank you for being there. For all of it, for flying out, for staying with me, for holding my hand through the worst of it. That's what sisters do. Not all sisters. Some sisters wouldn't have done what you did. But you did. You always do. And I want you to know that I see it, and I appreciate it. And I love you. She wipes her eyes. Damn it, Emma, you're going to make me cry. Good. You made me cry earlier with all that pregnancy hormone emotion. We laugh and we hug, and we stay up too late eating leftover pie. March 2029. 5 years since my rebirth. 4 years since my surgery. 3 years since my divorce. 5 years. In my first life, I died 5 years ago this month. But in this life, I'm in Seattle, holding my newborn nephew for the first time. He's tiny and red and perfect. Maya named him Robert after our dad who died when we were kids. Hello, little man, I whisper. I'm your Aunt Emma. He makes a small snuffling sound and opens his eyes. He likes you, Maya says from the hospital bed. She looks exhausted but radiant. Of course he likes me. I'm going to be the cool aunt who teaches him all the inappropriate things. Sarah laughs. Please don't. No promises. I stay for a week, helping with the baby, cooking meals, letting Maya and Sarah sleep. It's exhausting and beautiful and exactly where I want to be. On my last night there, Maya and I sit in the nursery while she feeds the baby. Emma, she says quietly, do you remember when you told me it felt like you'd been given a second chance? Yeah. I think I understand what you meant now. Holding him, she looks down at Robert. I keep thinking about alternate timelines, about all the things that could have gone differently, about how glad I am that they didn't. Me too. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you fought for yourself. I'm glad you're alive to meet my son. Me too, I say again, because there aren't words big enough for this moment. June 2029. 5 years post-surgery. 5 years in remission. I'm sitting in Dr. Patel's office for my 5-year scan. This is the big one, the milestone that separates remission from cured. She pulls up my scans on the screen, studies them, nods. Emma, she says, turning to me with a smile. Congratulations. You're officially cured. No evidence of disease, and at the 5-year mark, your chances of recurrence are so low they're almost negligible. You don't need to see me anymore, just routine annual gynecological care going forward. Cured. Not in remission. Not cancer-free for now. Cured. Thank you, I say. For everything. You did the hard part, she says. You advocated for yourself. You insisted on early treatment. You saved your own life, Emma. Don't forget that. I won't. I walk out of her office into a perfect June day. The sun is shining. Birds are singing. It's almost sickeningly beautiful. I get in my car and I scream, not from fear or pain, but from joy, from relief, from the sheer, overwhelming reality of being alive. I'm alive. I'm cured. I'm free. That night, I do something I haven't done in 5 years. I unblock Patricia's number. Not to call her, just to check. She's posted on Facebook. I can see her public profile. There are photos from various trips. She went to Europe last year, apparently. Southeast Asia the year before. She looks older. Unhappy somehow, even in the smiling photos. The comments on her posts are sparse. A few likes from people I don't recognize. No comments from David or Ryan. I scroll down to June 2024, to the time of my surgery. There's a photo from a cruise ship, the Mediterranean cruise she eventually took. She's smiling, holding a cocktail, caption reading, "Finally living my dream, #blessed, #grateful." The comments are interesting. Jennifer, Ryan's wife. Glad you're having fun. Someone named Carol. Beautiful, you deserve it. And then, from someone named Diane. Wasn't this the trip you tried to convince your daughter-in-law to postpone surgery for? Did she end up rescheduling okay? Patricia didn't respond to that comment. But someone else did. Someone named Michelle. From what I heard, Emma, the daughter-in-law, refused to reschedule and had the surgery as planned. Good thing, too, they found cancer. If she'd waited for Patricia to get back from vacation, it could have been much worse. Or fatal. The comment has 15 likes. Patricia still didn't respond. I scroll further. There are no more family photos. No more comments from David or Ryan or Jennifer. Just Patricia, posting solo vacation pictures, getting fewer and fewer interactions. I close the app and block her again. I don't feel vindicated. I don't feel satisfied. I just feel done. December 2029. Christmas at Maya and Sarah's again. Robert is 9 months old now, crawling everywhere, getting into everything. I'm on the floor with him, building block towers for him to knock down when Maya sits down next to me. I've been thinking, she says. Dangerous. Shut up. I've been thinking about you, about your life, about everything that's happened. Okay. You've spent the last 5 years recovering. From cancer, from divorce, from trauma. And I'm so proud of you for that. But Emma, when are you going to start living again? Not just surviving, but really living. I am living. You're working, you're healthy, you're stable. But when's the last time you went on a date? Tried something new? Took a risk? I almost died, Maya. I did die. I'm allowed to play it safe. You're allowed to do whatever you want, but I don't think playing it safe is what you actually want. I think you're scared. Of course I'm scared. I know how fast everything can fall apart. She takes my hand. But it didn't fall apart. You rebuilt it, and now you have this whole life ahead of you, and I don't want you to waste it being afraid. I'm not wasting it. When's the last time you felt excited about something? Really, genuinely excited? I open my mouth to answer and realize I can't. That's what I thought, Maya says gently. You've been in survival mode for 5 years. It's time to come out of it. January 2030. 6 years since my rebirth. 5.5 years since my surgery. I'm sitting in my apartment on New Year's Day thinking about Maya's words. She's right. I've been playing it safe. Working from home, keeping to myself, avoiding risks. I convinced myself it was healing, but maybe it's just hiding. I open my laptop and do something impulsive. I book a trip to Italy, 2 weeks in Rome, Florence, and Venice. Solo travel. Something I've always wanted to do but never had the courage. Then I sign up for a painting class. I haven't painted since college, but I used to love it. Then I update my dating profile. Not that I'm ready for a relationship, but maybe I'm ready for dinner, for conversation, for possibility. By the end of the day, I've signed up for half a dozen new things: a book club, a hiking group, a volunteer program at the children's hospital. I'm terrified, but I'm also excited. For the first time in either of my lives, I'm not just surviving. I'm living. June 2030, 6 years post-surgery. I'm standing in front of the Trevi Fountain in Rome, throwing in a coin and making a wish. Not for health. I have that. Not for revenge. I'm done with that. I wish for more of this, more moments of joy, more adventures, more life. A woman next to me fumbles with her camera, and I offer to take her photo. "Oh, thank you," she says in a British accent. "Would you like me to take yours?" "Sure." We exchange cameras. She takes my photo, I take hers. We start chatting. Her name is Elizabeth. She's here for a solo trip too, recovering from her own divorce. We end up getting coffee, then dinner, then spending the next 3 days exploring Rome together. On my last night in the city, we're sitting at a cafe, watching the sunset paint the buildings gold. "I've had such a lovely time with you," Elizabeth says. "Would you want to stay in touch? Maybe visit each other sometime?" "I'd love that." We exchange numbers, we hug goodbye. I don't know if we'll actually stay in touch or if this is just one of those perfect travel friendships that exist only in the moment. But it doesn't matter. Because for the first time since my rebirth, I'm not thinking about the past. I'm not thinking about cancer or David or Patricia or any of it. I'm thinking about tomorrow, about the train to Florence, about the art I'll see and the food I'll eat and the life I'm living. I'm thinking about the future. And it's beautiful. December 2034, 10 years since my rebirth, 9 years since my surgery. I'm at Maya and Sarah's house for Christmas. Robert is 5 now, smart and funny and full of energy. They have a second kid now, too. A daughter named Julia, 3 years old, with Sarah's eyes and Maya's stubbornness. Elizabeth is here, too. We've been dating for 3 years, long distance at first, and then she moved to the States last year. We're talking about getting married. Nothing rushed, nothing pressured, just 2 people who found each other at the right time. We're all sitting around the tree, opening presents, when Maya hands me a small box. "This is from all of us," she says. I open it. Inside is a necklace with a small pendant, a phoenix rising from flames. "Maya," I whisper. "You died," she says quietly. "And you came back. And you built something beautiful from the ashes. That's what phoenixes do." I put it on immediately. Elizabeth kisses my cheek. Robert and Julia crowd around to see. "You're like a superhero," Robert says seriously. "Am I?" "Yeah, you had cancer and you beat it. That's like having superpowers." "I guess it is." That night, after everyone has gone to bed, I sit by the tree and touch the pendant. I think about the woman I was in my first life, the woman who bent herself into shapes to please people who didn't care, the woman who died at 32, alone and full of regret. She's gone now. She died so I could live, and I'm living. Really, truly living. Not despite the cancer, not despite the divorce, not despite any of it, because of it, because I learned to choose myself, to fight for myself, to believe that I was worth saving. Patricia wanted me to cancel my surgery for a vacation. She wanted me to risk my life for her convenience. Instead, I chose life. And in doing so, I chose everything that came after: the surgery, the diagnosis, the treatment, the recovery, the divorce, the freedom, the rebuilding, the trips, the art, the love, the family. All of it started with that one choice. No, no, I won't cancel my surgery. No, I won't sacrifice my health. No, I won't make myself small. Just no. The simplest word, the most powerful word, the word that saved my life. I touch the Phoenix pendant and smile. I died 10 years ago, and then I chose to live. Best decision I ever made.